Hello, wonderful interpreters. At this point, I want to talk to you about the email that most of you received last Friday at about 10:47 in the morning, and it's regarding the focus groups or meetings that LNI is having for interpreters. So without any more delaying, let's go to that email real quick. I want to make this video as short as possible. So LNI says, we want to hear from you. So basically they have 4 meetings, one in April 23rd, May 8th, May 9th, and May 13th. And so sign up for the one that makes sense for you. They're going to be in Everett, Spokane, Yakima, and Tukwila. That's part of the email. So LNI will develop the scope of the scheduling system with input from interpreters and providers. And so they have 2 questions here. What are your 3 biggest concerns about using a scheduling system? Okay, and then the second one is, what 3 aspects of a scheduling system would be most important to you? So I want to talk a little bit about this, okay, because this is something that some people, struggle with because of time, because of occupations. It happens to me a lot. It's really hard to coordinate all of the ideas that we have. And so, I think we have to remember when we go to these focus groups, first of all, we have to show up, because the last one that I was at, I didn't see a lot of interpreters. We were probably 10, 15 people. I talked about this before. And so we need to show up and not be intimidated or afraid of anybody, either interpreters or LNI. They need to hear our voices. Unfortunately, we don't have a union yet, so one thing that I would have to say is this is not a negotiation. So this is not something where you go and demand these things. And I'm just mainly speaking to those that haven't been part of these focus groups. I know that some of you have been there, so this is not for you. But if you want to take that advice, you're welcome to. So it's not a negotiation, so we can't be demanding things. No, you can't do that. You can't. No. I think we need to let them know how we feel about some of these things, but respectfully. So that's number 1. I think we need to focus on the items in the agenda. So they're asking specific questions about concerns and what's important to you when it comes to scheduling system. I think we need to stick to this to, save time for the purposes of time saving and productiveness. So we need to be productive with that. The second thing that I would suggest to you is, be respectful of others, when they speak, when they talk, when they have the chance to talk. It's not your turn. Don't interrupt people. I know that some of us would not agree with some other people expressing their opinion, but this is the beautiful thing. We all have the right to, because we're all interpreters. We all have a license, we all have certifications, and we're invited. So if you're there, be respectful of everybody talking. I know there's going to be moderators, Susan, whoever's going to be there, but they'll cut you off. But just to save time, why don't we go with that, in mind, and say, okay, I'm going to be respectful, and I'm going to try not to talk too much, especially myself, because I talk a lot. But let's try to be respectful with other people there too. So with that said, the 3 biggest concerns about a scheduling system that I've been gathering from interpreters, and also people have been calling me and telling me, and also myself, is number 1, it's pay cuts. I'm concerned about pay cuts, And I know that scheduling system in the LNI system would not have to be the same as DSHS, because it is a different way of procuring interpreters, and it works a different way. So scheduling system should be different, but at the same time, we're concerned that we get a pay cut. Now, LNI has said reportedly, especially when we went to Olympia, they had acknowledged when we went to the Appropriations Committee last year that the scheduling system would not save them any money, and it would not affect them financially. So if interpreter services, as I heard before, is such a minute part of their budget, then any costs of a scheduling system shouldn't be put on the interpreter in the form of a pay cut. Okay, so that's something that I'm concerned with, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you, if not all of you or most of you, would be concerned with. Number 2, not having the freedom to refer another interpreter if I can't make it to an appointment, And I'm concerned about that, because patients get used to us. You've been interpreting for a while for somebody that goes through physical therapy sessions, massage therapy, chiropractors. It's a few months into a claim, maybe 2 or 3 months, whatever the case may be. They get used to you, and so with the scheduling system, they won't have that quality control. The provider won't have that quality control to know what kind of interpreter they're gonna get for a specific appointment. So that's something that I'm concerned with. And then the third thing that I'm concerned with, and some interpreters are too, or maybe most of them, is providers having to depend exclusively on the system to get interpreters that mostly they don't know. They don't know their rating, they don't know their experience, they don't know their commitment, they don't know their skills, abilities. So it's kind of dicey. You don't know what kind of interpreter you're getting because you click on a button, and if you haven't seen that person before, you don't know. And then most patients in the LNI world, they don't like to be, changing interpreters all the time. So that's something that I'm concerned as well. I think, if we have a scheduling system, it should be a combination of having appointments in the system, of course, what they call the piranha pit, where you click and choose an appointment. I don't like that idea, but if they're going to do it that way, it should be a combination of that and the providers having a way through the system to contact their preferred or the interpreters that they have built a relationship with through the years, and they know who these people are, what they're capable of doing and willing to do, because we do so much more for the patients, right? So I think it should be a combination of that. Now, moving to what aspects are important to me in a scheduling system, I would rather not have a scheduling system. Unfortunately, we didn't have a union soon enough to negotiate this legally with LNI. But since it is going to happen, if we don't have a union, we need to get together and have this union. But if it happens, and they're asking for suggestions right now, I think one of the aspects that would be important for me if they implement this is, number one, getting paid my $52.20 an hour. I'm not willing to give that up. That's why I went to Olympia. And I'm pretty sure they don't want a PR nightmare of interpreters, doing the same thing because they don't agree with decisions that LNI made. I think, they're different than DSHS and HCA. LNI is. At least they're actually, nice enough to give us input into this and have focus groups or meetings to get feedback and kind of like, sense and see what we want to do something that works for the patients and interpreters and everybody. With that said, it doesn't mean they'll do whatever we want, but at least, they're listening to our concerns. So I want my $52.20 an hour. Okay, I want my mileage because I'm the one driving. No agency or scheduling system is driving for me. No one is putting wear and tear on my car or spending the gas but me, yourself. So I think, we should let them know that we need our mileage intact. And number two, there is an amendment that we worked in Olympia last year that says nothing precludes the Department of Labor and Industries from directly reimbursing language access providers. So what does that mean? There's nothing in the law that says that they have to mandatorily, give a scheduling system the ability to pay us. When a scheduling system pays you, in the case of the DSHS side of things, you could get paid monthly by monthly. We don't want that. We want to be able to bill LNI directly and get reimbursed directly the way we've been doing it for all this time. We get paid bi-weekly, we get direct deposit. Okay, we don't have a problem with that. We have the ability to see whether or not a bill is in process or is being paid or it's going to be denied. We have actually the chance to do something by calling LNI or seeing directly through their Provider Billing Express direct entry website to see what's the status of a bill. There are many things that we could do to actually speed up the process or correct something that we need to correct before the cutoff date, the payment cycle ends. And so we have more of a chance to get our bills paid. Because let me tell you something, rent, mortgage, car payments, they don't wait for you to get your bills paid. You have to have them at a certain time. And we certainly don't want the ULS fiasco that our fellow interpreters had before. So that's very important to me. Number two is I want to be able to walk in with a patient to a clinic that somebody recommended me or somebody called me from church or anywhere else and I said, well, I can't help you open up a claim, but if you go to this clinic and choose me to be an interpreter, I can help you. So that way we bring business to clinics. And so continuity of care, it's important also. We have to have the freedom to do that, to bring patients. And number three, be able to have continuity of care. If I brought a patient, quote unquote, brought a patient, I'm bringing business to a provider, be able to continue to interpret for that patient if the patient wants me to and the provider is comfortable. And with that, I want that to be considered also. It is the fact that the patient should have a little more of leeway and say into what interpreter, who he wants to have in the appointment to interpret for him, for her. So I think, with that, those are, three main aspects that I would like to see and three concerns. I know you have many ideas, many suggestions, but, I just wanted to make this video, as short and quick as I could to explain these things from my point of view and some interpreters. I do have many other suggestions, but for the purposes of time saving, if you want to listen to this video, I listen to it, get some ideas. If it helps you, good. If it doesn't, that's fine. But if you want to write down things that you want to talk to LNI, that's a good idea. Just get a notebook and write things that come to your mind. Talk to interpreters, sign up for these meetings, show up, and let our voices be heard. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to actually read the links in the description below. God bless.